Welcome members to another weekly market update. Please always see the other video, which is the overall market update. It's Sunday the 17th after the market closed on the 15th. Trends still going up and stocks are still going up, so that's good. But we did have this little, I mentioned to you this last week, this little kind of flutter bet I was talking about based on the Federal Reserve. And I explained to you that yes, I think it's a 50-50 chance that they raise rates or don't raise rates, but whatever happens, it was already priced in. That was what was expected. So, you see, it's about analysing, the upside and the downside. It's more about managing risk than, trying to be right. And if the odds aren't priced accordingly, then we have potentially a good trade. And what happened is that gold had been whacked, and gold miners, what we're looking at here is a chart of NUGT, the gold leverage gold miners. And so obviously if interest rates rise, gold goes down because gold doesn't pay any interest. So everyone had expected this rate rise, and when it happened, it wasn't when they announced it on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever it wasn't actually as big as they thought. It was just like a quarter of a point or whatever. But the point was, it was already priced in, and whatever was going to happen, gold was probably either going to stay the same because that was expected, or it was going to rise up because maybe they didn't raise rates, or they didn't raise rates as much as people thought. And that's exactly what happened. The bet paid off. And here you can see on the 13th, Nugget opened up at 24.44, closed the day at 27. Points wise, that's a huge over a 10% gain. And as you traded options and that, as I was talking about doing, that would easily be double your money overnight kind of trade. So as I say, that was just like a 24-hour flutter. It paid off because of one of those asymmetric situations. That's not to say I bet that they're not going to raise rates, or I bet they're not going to raise rates very much. It didn't matter because it wasn't about that. It was just about looking at the odds. So let's just check in what else is going on. Excuse me. Let's see. Check on Pico. Yeah, so what happened here was I got in around there, and it went up, and it sort of stepped down a bit, but thankfully it stayed above. It stayed in this new step, which is around about there. So as I was warning you, if it got down a bit lower, then I'd probably have bumped out of it. But here it goes again. It's just consolidating its gain. Up it goes, and this lot was very excellent progress this week, and it hopefully just keeps on pushing up. I was in around 11, and I'll let that one ride. ANSS. Similar sort of story. I was in here, up it goes, and it was stepping, and it stayed in its zone up there, bouncing off the 50-day. Very, very excellent action. Up, 28 points, huge gains rolling in there as we go into Christmas. Tile. Excellent progress here. Just hasn't stopped, this one. Really excellent performer. As you know, I was giving multiple indications that you could have got at any time along there because it was just kissing that line just beautifully. It was irresistible. And then, that was around 18. Then up she goes, step, 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 step. Holding the high ground each time. And this is now up at 24. Huge volume spike on Friday. Really, really bullish picture. 18 to 24, that's a 33% gain. If all you've done is just bought the stock, never mind spread betting or options to leverage it, that's just a wonderful gain right there in just a few months. This sort of gains is hedge fund managers dream about. Let me just talk about there. See how this selling went on there for ages. I wasn't that bothered about it because the volume wasn't that huge. You see, then the buying comes back on big volume. That's a bullish stock. So got some nice gains here. I'm going to let this one ride into Christmas, but I really don't want to let this one get below that step there at around 23. So I'm going to lock in some gains around there. What else have we got here? There's a couple of new ones added recently. WTW. This was a nice line of support, and just this last week it sort of bumped high, and there's the line in the sand. I don't want it to go lower than that, but it's gaining. IMMU. Similar sort of story. There's the line there on the moving average, which we were looking at it colliding with, and there's the top of the step right there. Tested our resilience there as it bounced down, but then it came right off there really beautifully and made an excellent recovery. And now, as you know, this was the sort of entry point around this sort of area here, and that's going well. I mean, like $9 to $12. That doesn't look like much, but remember that's a 30% gain just from the stock alone. As a new one last week as well, I mentioned EPOL, and it's still on that step. With the Federal Reserve rate meeting out of the way as we go into Christmas now, maybe that one will push higher. But there's the stop loss there right on that support line. I'm not going to add any more because I've got plenty going on, and I don't want to push my luck that much because we've got some. I want to ride these trades going into Christmas and the New Year, which is typically a very bullish time, barring anything going wrong. And I don't want to open any new ones that might be vulnerable to any pullbacks in January. So to buy now, if you haven't had one by now, you're going to get one soon. You really need to come to the January seminar, 13th, 14th at Heathrow, Radisson Edwardian. It's a special price for members. It's very low. And we're going to be covering cryptocurrencies, how the next 20 years are going to be different, as well as just recapping everything you learn. You don't pay anything like new members. It's a fraction of that actually. But call us or email me if you want details. And you don't have to come for the whole thing. You can just come and go for bits that you want. So I really hope I see you in January to catch up, talk about new ideas. I'm also going to give you a business idea actually about how to make money from the cryptocurrency craze, completely away from trading, just ready to go business opportunity. So I will speak to you next week and hopefully see you soon.